All right, so the 7 stages of business ownership. Thank you so much for making the time. We're going to start a journey today, a journey to building a mature business within 3 to 5 years. So I'll tell you a little bit about 3 to 5 Club. I'm a facilitator for Canada's only 3 to 5 Club. 3 to 5 clubs exist internationally all over the world. It's effectively a CEO mastermind for business owners to achieve their ideal lifestyle, period. That's it. We just work on getting business owners from where they are at to having what they want out of owning their business. So why 7 stages? Well, there may be more or less, but this framework's going to help us figure out where we are in our entrepreneurial journey and where we want to be. Okay, so a lot of the times when I was in startup mode here at Achen Henderson, I'm going, why didn't I just stay on as an employee at XYZ firm? I got my 4 weeks of vacation. I wasn't getting any vacation for the first few years of this, and I had effectively more freedom, right? And I imagine that a few people on the call are going, well, this business hasn't given me much freedom, which is kind of the reason we got into this in the first place. So why 7 stages? There could be more or there could be less, but we picked 7, and these aren't my ideas. These are based around a book from a friend of mine called Chuck Blakeman, and he designed 3 to 5 clubs and also wrote the best-selling business book, Making Money is Killing Your Business. I love this book. It's a bestseller in the business space. And so Chuck defines these 7 stages in a way that really resonates with me, and it's directly related to the book. And by the way, everything in 3 to 5 clubs, we cover a monthly topic every month to improve your business and your life. I facilitate, and then you take it home and action it. All these ideas are in Chuck's book, Making Money is Killing Your Business. So if this stuff resonates with you, you may want to check out our 3 to 5 clubs. It's not expensive. It's not a huge time commitment, and it's helped a lot of entrepreneurs really thrive in their businesses. Okay, let's get into it. So this is what we do at the start of every 3 to 5 club. I'm just going to share with you mine because we can't really go around the table. But at the beginning, we introduce ourselves. So I'm Clayton Achen. My business is Achen Henderson CPAs. The big why is to help entrepreneurs and business leaders build great companies. And the one big thing that I've achieved in the last couple of weeks since our last 3 to 5 club meeting is we've got a big SEO deployment going on to figure out how to really turbocharge our SEO, and we've hired 2 people. So those are big rocks that we talk about and at the start of every club. So if anybody wants to go into the chat and punch their name and business and their big why in there, and maybe your email address, I'll follow up with you after for a one-to-one. We can chat about all the stuff contained in here. Okay, so I hope you're okay with getting real. So we're going to get a little bit uncomfortable here. It's information that made me it made me a bit uneasy the first time that I experienced it, right? So if we talk about 7 stages, the first 4, stages 1 to 4, are like a big, long cliff face. So if you're here, you own a business, and statistically, by an overwhelming margin, you're somewhere in stages 1 to 4. This is where like 98% of businesses reside. You can own an amazing business, one that's producing good results, and even compared to your competitors. But here's the secret. That doesn't really matter, does it? Right? Measuring your business against itself or against competitors is completely irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Business ownership should center around one thing, only one thing, and that is the wealth of the owner. Whoa, that's a bit mercenary, isn't it? Well, let's define wealth. How do we define wealth? Is it riches? Not really. It's wealth. And so what is wealth? Well, Chuck defines wealth as money plus time. I'm going to say it's money plus time plus energy. All right, so when we're in our early stages of business, we've got a lot of time and we got a lot of energy. We don't have much money, and then we get into sort of where I am, middle-aged dude with the midlife crisis car and all that, and it's like, hey, maybe you got a bit of money and you got energy, but I got no time, right? And maybe you get into later stage business and you got the money and you got the time, but you're running low on energy. So the objective of owning your own business should be to have all 3. And why can't you get that right out of the gate? You shouldn't have to wait for that, or at least you should know the path through getting that as quickly as possible, the path and support. Chuck defines wealth as time plus money. I'm going to add on energy. So notice that I don't say loads of money, okay? We don't need to be rich here. Rich has nothing to do with wealth. although it's a nice side effect if you get it right. You can get some money going. It's more about being wealthy. And another definition of wealth is freedom. Okay, so we have to ask ourselves constantly, why are we putting ourselves through this, right? So here's the 7 stages. Today we're talking about the 7 stages. We're going from startup to significance or succession. The first stages are all about sales, and the middle stages are all about perfecting your craft and producing. And then the later stages of a mature business is all about empowering others through great leadership and mentorship. We're going to go through all these stages. So you need to take these in order. Way too often, early stage businesses are more focused on leadership and process than they are on sales, and that's a huge, huge mistake. Okay, and I've been there. I've been in that mistake personally. So focusing on leadership and process before you got sales going has led to the death of many great startups, because nothing else is going to fall into place without sales. Okay, so let's find out where you are now and where you'd like to be if you had the right tools to get you there, such as 3 to 5 Club. So startup, this stage is a lot of fun. You're not making any money yet, but you're also not bleeding money. This is the dreaming stage, okay? So you're thinking about how green the grass will be when your business takes off and how easy it's going to be, and nothing could possibly go wrong. So you've gathered information, you've bounced ideas off friends and colleagues, you maybe even made a prototype. Well, that's nice, but it's time to get moving now, right? So funding is starting to come in from the outside for the business, maybe from your personal bank accounts, RRSPs, or the three Fs, as we say, friends, family, and fools, right? So your lifestyle hasn't really changed because cash is coming in for now. We need to get out of stage 1 as soon as possible. If you don't need to plan to be broke for any length of time. Okay, that's a myth that's taught to you in a lot of business textbooks that frankly should go up on the shelf with the other self-help books. You need to get out of stage 1 as quickly as possible. So I'm going to give you a quote from Chuck's book that hit me hard. Even as we introduce new services at Achen Henderson in our late stage business, here's what Chuck says. The number 1 indicator of success in early stage business is simply the speed of execution. Think of the successful 6-figure salespeople, or that business owner who seems to have everything and turn everything into gold. Almost certainly, there are people who, when they get an idea, move on it immediately. This really hits close to home. 5 years ago, we started a cloud accounting practice, and we agonized about details and process for 18 months before we finally started seeing some action in the business. The key catalyst for getting some change and getting some growth going is we stopped worrying about every little detail, and instead we hired some really smart people, gave them the guiding principles, and loosened our grip on the reins, and then we watched them fly, and what a difference that made. Okay, so we've gotten through stage 1. Stage 2, this is survival. Stage 2 sucks. It's all about survival. It's all about learning some very hard lessons that are going to stay with you forever. Okay, in fact, you're going to develop more as an entrepreneur in stage 2 than in any other stage. Great ideas are coming at you with lightning speed, and if you act on them quickly and properly, you may propel yourself into the stratosphere, into being a late stage business owner faster than you expected. And the best things happen, as Chuck says, when you're backed into a corner, right? So stage 2 is totally and completely and very expensive. We burn a lot of fuel on takeoff. The costs are not only financial, but also mental and physical. We're often surprised in stage 2 at how hard it was or how hard it is, because we weren't expecting it to be this hard in stage 1 when we were in stage 1. I was completely surprised that not every one of our customers wanted to take advantage of our cloud bookkeeping program immediately. Our vision was amazing. The product was better than most in the market, but the sales were slow to come, and we were pouring a lot of time and energy into finding customers. You're burning cash like crazy in stage 2, and your lifestyle is now diminishing because you're burning cash like crazy effectively, and a lot of it's your cash. I know a lot of stage 2 business owners who mortgaged their house. I know some that didn't pull it off, and it's a tragedy. Stage 2 is where your business starts teaching you some very bad habits, okay? It starts teaching you to focus on sales, and some sales are coming in, so it seems like it could be working, but your business is teaching you to make money. That's the very bad habit. And the next 2 stages continue to reinforce this backwards view of success, where making money is the measure of success. We'll get to that on later. We'll get to more on that later, because I'm sure some of you are going, well, making money is the measure of success. Hello, right? Okay, so what are we saying here? Making money back. Oh yeah, this is when you start focusing on money, right? Stage 2. So money is the imperative. Well, why is that? Well, because it has to be. You don't get sales going, you're gonna die. So if anybody's got any comments on stage 2, email me, Clayton at achenhenderson.ca, and I'll address your question or your comment, or I'll share your comment with the group in there. Okay, so stage 3, this is subsistence. Whoa, we're making some money. We're paying the bills. This is working. How very exciting. Your stage 2 slump appears to be coming to a close. Well, pat yourself on the back, enjoy your moment, but then get back to work, like right now, because stage 3 subsistence hasn't improved your life very much. It happens when you're able to break even for 3 to 6 months in a row. It's when you're able to pay off your bills, but you're not really paying yourself yet. Okay, so if something unexpected comes up, COVID, I know a lot of restaurant owners who are just blasting through stage 3 and almost in stage 4 when COVID hit. And that hurts a lot, right? You were on the cusp of being able to make some money out of this business, and here you are with an unexpected issue that comes up that's beyond your control or that you have to manage. So stage 3, your mindset shifts into production. You have to deliver on the sales that you started to make in stage 2. You are the producer, so get to work. Your business is teaching you more bad habits here though, but it's not your fault. You're doing what you have to do to survive, right? So I've seen entrepreneurs stuck in this stage right up to retirement, which isn't much of a retirement at all, because they've lived the last 20 years of their lives not making any personal money. They are retiring because they have to, and they will go through the later stages of their life living a lifestyle that they may not have intended when they were much younger. Further, they have no relationships left to speak of because their business sucked the life out of them, and they haven't talked to their friends in years. So, I mean, stage 2 is really scary, and you want to get through it as fast as you can, right? So there's literally no ability to relax here. This is why you can't focus on your personal life, family, friends, etc. Stage 2, 1, 2, and 3, let's get through them as quickly as possible, okay? Anybody have any questions or comments on stage 3, feel free to email me, Clayton at achenhenderson.ca. Haven't got any emails yet, but we'll hopefully get a few come in as we move through this. So stage 4 is stability. We're living the American dream. Sorry, this is an American piece of content from my friend Chuck down in Denver. Something's missing. Stage 4 is the most dangerous stage. Okay, so while stage 3 is the kind of the crappiest stage because you're burning through cash and you don't have a lifestyle, stage 4, you can make a ton of money, right? You're making money. You could even be making lots of it, maybe millions. You have the ability to pay yourself, and your company may be profitable after getting paid. Maybe you can reinvest in a new piece of equipment or an office space, or maybe you can buy some nice things. You got that hot tub. Maybe you're taking great holidays, but you have to work hard to get ready to leave for that holiday, and you probably work overtime when you get back to catch up. You might even have to take your laptop with you. I take my laptop on a few holidays. I'm not going to lie about that. So congratulations, you're in stage 4. Money's flowing. Or maybe not. Congratulations. This is the most dangerous stage. This is where you can really focus, where you really start to focus on making money. This is also where most business owners, and I'm talking most, like high 90s, this is where they get stuck for the rest of their lives. They become so infatuated with money that they tend to ignore building a business that makes money while they're on holidays. Hence the name of the book, Making Money is Killing Your Business. It's all about stage 4 stability. We fixate so hard on making money that we forget to build the business that pays us while we're on holiday. So this is the stage that has the potential to make you rich. It can make you millions, but if you stay here, you will never have wealth. Remember what wealth is. Wealth is time plus money plus energy, otherwise known as freedom. You don't have freedom in stage 4, okay? It's really hard to go on vacation for a couple of weeks. You've become treadmill. I need to find a more modern expletive than or descriptor than guy, maybe treadmill human. So you start to realize that although you're making money, this isn't what you'd imagine what you started. This was me back in 2017 when my daughter was born, and when the federal government ripped the carpet out from under us with all the fancy tax planning that we were doing. They tried to change a lot of it. And you step back and go, whoa, I'm working a lot and I'm missing some dinners here. This isn't very good. So the business is still completely dependent on you for way, way too many functions. weekends off and holidays could be tough to manage, you start to realize that you could have just kept your old job. Remember back, I talked about this earlier, and you might be making more. Then it hits you. You don't own a business. Your business owns you. You've allowed your business to become a tyrant, and you are its slave. You're a hostage. We're going to talk about the difference between a prisoner and a hostage in a second. In other words, instead of building a business, what you've done is you've built yourself a job where you get to be the employee of yourself. So congratulations. As Chuck puts it in his book, there's 2 simple reasons why most business owners never exit stage 4. First, the business taught you that making money should be your primary focus through stages 2, 3, and 4. You need to make sales, produce, and be the craftsperson, all to make money. And the second thing that it taught you is when you get tired of sending your family off to the boat while you're away at the office, you look around and saw other successful business business owners doing the exact same thing. So you spent your days believing that if you want a successful business, you have to spend a ton of time at work. That's just normal. Business owners who have a lot of free time are a rarity, frankly. So quiet desperation sets in. You're on the treadmill and you don't know how to get off it. And so that's where our 3 to 5 clubs or CEO mastermind here, that's what we're really focused on, is getting you off the treadmill. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between a prisoner and a hostage. So the mental damage that is done to a hostage in like 5 days is more than a prisoner in 5 months kind of thing. And the main difference is certainty. Uncertainty is one of the worst and one of the best of the human conditions. But in the case of this prisoner versus hostage comparison, it's really, really bad. So as a prisoner, maybe you're in jail, you know when you're getting out, you know you're going to get a meal tomorrow, you know where you're going to go sleep. And so whereas when you're a hostage, everything's unclear. You don't know when it's going to stop. You don't know when that next meal's coming. You never know when it might get worse. You know, when you're a prisoner, maybe you can shorten your sentence with good behavior, etc. So it's really scary to be a hostage. And a lot of folks that I know are a hostage to their business. Think about it. A lot of people, when they start their business, dump their entire life, including their entire life savings, into their business. Maybe you remortgage your house. And the only way to dig yourself out of that is to work harder. And without a really great path forward, there's a lot of uncertainty there. And uncertainty triggers a hostage mindset, which is really damaging to us, and we got to try and avoid it. The neat thing is that the business fundamentals are very much the same no matter what business you're in. There's fundamentals that you can start to understand and apply in your business and start to treat it more like a business and less like a pet project. And your chances of success are greatly increased, okay? And so that's what we really focus on in 3 to 5 Club, is the fundamentals of business. So how can we create a bit of certainty in our businesses that we're going to achieve what we want out of our businesses, right? There are ways that you can do it. All right, so we've just hit stage 5. What a terrible place we just came out of. The business textbook tells you that you're not going to hit stage 5 and for 5 or 6 years, blah, blah, blah. I mean, my business plan, if I was to do it all over again, is I'd want to get through stages 1 to 4 in like months. But the idea with 3 to 5 Club is within 3 to 5 years of starting, you should be able to hit stage 5 success. So this is where you stop being a hostage to your business. You can go on holidays without coming back to a mess. Chuck talks about the big mindset shift. To move from stage 4 to stage 5, you have to shift your focus from making money to building a business that makes money, because making money is killing your business, right? So a sustainable business is almost never, ever built on the production of its owner. I see countless lawyers, real estate agents, business advisors who present such a unique offering in the market and then fail to write it down, process, drive it, and create a scalable business model that they are the only ones. They're the only ones that can do what they do for their business. So a sustainable business, again, is never built on the production of its owner. So we shift our headspace from production to transferring our processes onto paper and into the brains of those that we work with. We call this freedom mapping. It's a module in our club. And it's frankly one of my favorite modules. And we do it here at Achen Henderson all the time with the various teams. So just because you have a few folks in production, in a production role, doesn't make you a stage 5 business owner. The true test of whether or not you can leave for a few weeks, have the business make money while you're away, not have to check in, and not come back to a mess, right? That's the true test of stage 5. Can you leave for 2 or 3 weeks, not check in, not come back to a mess, and make money while you're off on holidays? That's stage 5. I'm happy to report that I spend a lot of my time now in stage 5. It's really freeing, but the stages do oscillate. This isn't really a static thing where it's like, boom, check that off next. We'll talk about oscillation here later in the presentation. So we'll talk about it now. Most business owners spend their time switching between stages 1 to 4. Getting out of stage 4 and into stage 5 is all about intention. We get what we intend. And most business owners never intend to go above stage 4 because they're making money, and that was their primary focus when they started. They intended to make money. Boom, you're making money. Great, I'm done. This is what we call, this is what Chuck calls the random hope strategy of business. There's a few different strategies. You can be intentional and set intentions about how you're going to go through your business and build your business. Or you can deploy what most business owners deploy, which is the random hope strategy. And the random hope strategy of business is I'm going to work really, really hard and hope something works out because that's what all my peers do, or that's what my next door neighbor does, or whatever. We never thought it was possible to get to stage 5 because being a hostage to your business is the price that you have to pay for freedom, right? I mean, come on. Think about that. The price that you have to pay for freedom is being a hostage to your business. This goes back to my original statement of why wouldn't you just be an employee, right? So we get what we intend. In stage 5, you're still likely to go home tired and maybe work a few weekends, but you can also take Tuesdays off and go golfing, and you can do it with minimal impact or planning to your business, right? So not more than 10% of business owners ever hit stage 5. That was a stat that Chuck Blakeman has given us based on his research. I'm not big on stats. I think that about 76% of statistics are made up on the spot. But having helped and worked with hundreds of business owners over the last 15 years, I can tell you that I bet you not more than 10% of business owners ever hit stage 5. And that's really where you're aiming for. That's where we ought to be aiming for. Okay. So the owner may be off the treadmill, but they're still supervising, and it's the beginnings of wealth. We haven't really got wealth yet, but we have some freedom, and we have the ability to choose what we want to do with our time and money. That's, if we talk about wealth, it's freedom and the ability to choose what we do with our time and money. So here's stage 6. We've reached the summit, stage 6 significance. Now we can focus on leadership. So the business is thriving and the owner is free to do things to make business and their lifestyle truly great. They invest in their community. They contemplate their legacy. We can help the company get involved in things other than making sales. Perhaps we sponsor a kids hockey team, or we start a foundation. Perhaps we start offering 3 to 5 clubs to our customers, right? Most of a stage 6 business owner's work week is unscheduled, unplanned, and they're unavailable to solve crisis. That doesn't mean that they aren't busy. Stage 6 business owners are busy. They're just choosing how to spend their time. For me, I'm choosing to facilitate a 3 to 5 club and help entrepreneurs through sessions like this understand what I now understand through some research and studying on how to get what I want out of life from my business, right? So maybe we can help people get off the treadmill. Maybe we can look at business acquisitions. Maybe we can move into a new office space and look at buying a new office space. So stage 6 is also really dangerous because we assume that just because we have a solid leadership in place, that those leaders are also in charge. And that's not really the same thing. Leaders in place and leaders in charge are not the same thing. And I'll tell you the difference. So you can say, okay, all right, team, run distributed decision-making groups, engage in freedom mapping, and push out our vision, and I'll be on the golf course. That doesn't work, right? Because people need to be properly resourced and mentored and supported. And that's really the job of a stage 6 business owner, shifting to a leadership mindset, right? Is resourcing, mentoring, supporting their people through growth, and directing them and pointing them where they need to be. When they're in charge, you're in stage 7. We'll talk about that in a second. So to get to stage 7, your business still needs two things. It needs vision and your guidance. And this is where we focus on developing great leaders. Okay, stage 7, succession. So this is when you have leadership in charge, not just in place. Stage 7 business owners sometimes stay on as CEO or sometimes have a very high-level visionary position. They can decide to sell the business. They can decide to pass it on to their children or use it to get into another business. In fact, we often wonder why people want to sell their businesses when they're in stage 7, right? Because it's kicking off a nice income for you, and you have to be barely involved in it. So presumably, it's providing you with your ideal lifestyle. Maybe it's paying you very well. So a couple examples of stage 7 business owners, and this is on the big level, would be like Richard Branson or Warren Buffett. They're stage 7 business owners to a pile of businesses. They're myths in the company, right? So when they walk through the cubicle floor, people are going, "Whoa, that's the guy," right? Here's the thing you need to understand is you don't have to shoot to be Warren Buffett or Richard Branson level. You can have this within your own business. As Chuck says, this is not a gifted person's game. This is an intentional person's game. You get what you intend, and there are fundamentals in business that if we follow them, you will do well. So notice that I've not mentioned at all the financial position of the company at all in this presentation. And that's because it isn't the point, right? The point is building a business that provides owners with their ideal lifestyle, whatever that might be. And intention is how you get it done. Once you've decided on what your ideal lifestyle is going to be, we can start backfilling in the numbers and how to build it out and how to set an intention to get there and build the numbers out to support that. When you focus on making money, you're going to get stuck in stage 4, even though at the first 2 stages, you'll see you have to focus on sales. That's where we have to focus. All right. Anybody have any comments or questions about stage 7? Send me an email. Let's talk about cycling through the stages. So every business owner is going to cycle back and forth. Okay, at Achen Henderson, I've been a stage 5 business owner for the better part of 3 years, but we've lost key people that has put me back to stage 4. It didn't take me long to realize that I didn't want to be in stage 4 when that happened. I hated it, not one bit. I didn't want to do it at all. And I'd do anything to get out of stage 4 again. So we hired 3 people for the one that we lost and immediately started looking for new customers that we could pay them with. So that was a real catalyst for a mindset shift. And I should call the fellow up and thank him for leaving because it was the best thing that ever happened to my business because I realized how much I don't want to go back to that place. And now in our business, we try and stay ahead of the hiring curve. It's tough to predict when new business is coming in. That's really tricky, but to me, it's better to incur an upfront expense to load up on capacity slightly before you need it or ahead of the curve because, capital's still limited. But if you're in a well-capitalized startup, the first thing they do is go hire a ton of people, right, before they need them. So I dig stage 5. It's a lot of leaders are found and built in stage 5. I can think of a good number of business owners who were squarely in stage 4 before the pandemic hit, by the way. Sorry for saying the word pandemic. I know that's not a word that anybody likes to hear anymore, but the owners were being paid, maybe not enough, but they were being paid. And then the pandemic hit and the business owners moved back into stage 3 where they couldn't pay themselves. So you think of again, back to restaurant owners, you think of gym owners. Some even had emergencies pop up during the pandemic, like broken equipment that put them back into stage 2, fighting to even pay their bills, right? And so that's going down 2 stages. It's not uncommon to move between 2 or 3 stages, right? And disruptions in your business can easily do this. So the best thing that you can do to fend off these cycles of moving back into stages that you no longer want to be in is move up higher in the stages, because a stage 7 business owner will very rarely drop below stage 5 and stage 6 for stage 4, etc. Like, think about it, right? If you've built a good, resilient business, it's very likely that you're not going to drop below stage 4. Okay. Higher stages cycle less, just talked about that. Every business owner is going to cycle through the stages. Nothing's uniform. If you're satisfied with stage 4, that's great. But think about cycling back to stage 2 or 3. So think about if you're a business advisor or a real estate agent and you're in stage 4, you're making a pile of money. Well, what happens if, a medical issue pops up or you have a mountain biking accident or something? Like, boom, you're back to Nobody's there to run your business, right? You are the producer, right? So you couldn't even imagine the amount of times that I've heard the same thing from desperate entrepreneurs, right? In these situations, particularly lawyers and real estate agents and accountants and people like me, right? And here's what I hear. I'm the only one that can do it. No one is going to help me. No one can do it as good as I can. If I hire somebody, I'm just going to train them and they're going to quit. None of this is true. It's all crap. None of it is true. This is the lie that we tell ourselves to avoid taking the required risks to get out of the perpetual cycle of being held hostage by our business. So we're naturally scared of risk. And stage 4 is an enticing mirage because we're making a pile of cash, but at least we have an income, right? Well, again, think about dropping back to stage 2. You really got to fixate on what happens if I drop back to stage 2. Warren Buffett's net worth doesn't decrease during recessions. Like, think about that, right? Not saying you got to be Warren Buffett, but you got to think like Warren Buffett. Get out of production as quickly as possible. Okay, so the last thing that I'd like to chat about is just how the structure of our clubs run. At the end, we're going to talk about bottlenecks. So we spend a few minutes. Everybody can sort of wrap on what the issues are with the other CEOs in the room. We generally do it live, but we do have an online option where we can get stuff off our chest. And then we talk about blinding flashes of the obvious and what we're going to do over the next 2 weeks to achieve our goals. That's a bit of accountability. And last, I want to leave you with some contact information on how to get a hold of us. So old Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is today. So if you're interested in joining us for 3 to 5 clubs, or if you'd like to chat with us about even automating your back office or getting into cloud accounting or talking about business structuring or succession, I'd be happy to have those chats with you, all of which, we set up back offices in the cloud for customers and help them run their back office through good bookkeeping and fractional controllership and CFO. All of that is in the spirit of getting them out of that stuff so that they can focus on the bigger and better things, going and making more sales, communicating with your customers more, focusing more on leadership, etc. So that's it. That's all I've got. If anybody's got some questions, I will hang out here for another minute or two and wait for questions to come in via email or comments. If not, we'll send you out the recording to this so you can watch it again later, and look forward to chatting with you. Thanks so much for attending.
You know what, Clayton, I'll drop a question here. In terms of, when you're sustaining business operations, you've partnered with a couple people, but what's the benefit between, finding a partner or hiring in any business in terms of trying to, ensure that you're not working for your business, but you're working on your business? What are the benefits of each, of finding a partner to partner with, or finding individuals to hire to help you out?
Yeah, good question. I think that anybody who wants to build a successful business where they hit a stage 5 level or above, you're going to need resources. Resources are always the big problem. So think about that. It's always a resource problem. If you want to go above stage 4, you're going to need other people around you. Okay, so now the question becomes, like, when we're an entrepreneur, we wear all the hats. I'm the marketing person, the salesperson. I'm doing billing and collections and AP and all of it, and I'm doing my own bookkeeping, or maybe I've got my spouse in doing the bookkeeping, or my mom. And so you go, I need other people to get some of this stuff off my plate so that we can move on to building the business and trying to hit stage 5. Well, hiring a person is scary, right? So you go, in my case, the range of salaries is anywhere from $60,000 to $150,000 a year, depending on the level of expertise that you need. And that's a really scary hit to take, because that first person that you're going to hire, that's going to come out of your pocket, or at least that's how the thinking goes. It's a fear-based thinking. And so hiring somebody fractionally or getting a little bit of help, just like I do with you, Derek, for marketing, it's more affordable than hiring a full-time marketing person, but we still get some of the benefits and start to get into the thinking of how to build out the processes for when we eventually do need a full-time marketing person, or when we eventually do need a full-time controller. So there's a lot of really neat fractional services around that help you have a little bit of the person's time at a little bit of the cost, compared to going and building it out yourself. And technology has enabled that in a big way, and you can actually get a similar sort of horsepower level on a fractional basis that you used to be able to get on a full-time basis. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And actually, speaking of technology, are there any tools or anything that you would recommend in terms of leveraging technology to automate any of your processes, whether that's operational or marketing processes or sales, etc.?
Yeah, I think any tool, like I mean, I might bite myself on this answer in 5 years' time when Skynet goes live. But I think that anytime you can leverage tools, you should leverage tools. If we look at like our software spend at Achen Henderson last year was like $145,000, right? But I think we would have to be a team of 30 instead of a team of 20 to get the same amount of productivity done without the technology. So, I think that the best pieces of kit that you can deploy immediately are a cloud-based accounting system. Sorry, that's a selfish plug. But I think another thing is great communications tools. People like to work remote. Some people can. I mean, if you're in a restaurant, you're going to have to get in person. But anybody else who has a knowledge job, you can leverage things like Microsoft Team, that we're on, even though there's no chat feature in the live, whatever. Just to chat with people all the time and disseminate information and it's amazing how personal you can get on these platforms without actually having to be in the same place. So I think that those are probably our two biggest workflow platforms, is a good, amazing chat program with all our files and stuff are in our phone lines, everything's in Teams. And I think a cloud-based bookkeeping platform that removes you from the actual bookkeeping. You want the results of the data that's being compiled, but you don't actually want to be part of compiling those results, right? So, yeah.
Right, good. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions for your email there, or else I have maybe one more question.
Okay, got nothing yet.
Okay. Last question here, and it's mostly about, I guess I'll turn my camera on. It's mostly about striking a balance between, enjoying, like, let's say your holiday, but also ensuring that there's sustainability of your entrepreneurship, right? Can you give me, I don't know, 2 to 3 ways that I can strike that balance between leaving work for a little bit and ensuring that there's sustainability in my business?
Yeah, I can give you one, and it's all you need, but it's really hard to figure out. And that is to think about and set an intention about what you want out of your life and your business. So I'll give you an example. And we actually have a module on this in 3 to 5 Club where we spend a month talking about this. And here's how it goes. For me personally, I want my 2 goals in life are, 1, I want my kids to always want to come home. Okay, so I'm never going to achieve that life goal, right? But I can always chip away at it a little bit every day. So things that I do to achieve that are, I am present at my breakfast and dinner table every single day without fail. I mean, there's I missed 2 days in the last year or something, or when I'm traveling, but every other day I'm there, and they expect that, and it's become really nice. I do other things, but that's an example of trying to chipping away at a little bit every day of achieving my life goal that I'll never achieve. It's unachievable to have my kids always want to come home. I don't know if in 20 years they won't want to come home, but I can chip away at that one a little bit every day. And my second one, although I'm failing miserably, is to play guitar like John Mayer, right? I'm never going to get there in my life, but I want that, and I can chip away at that a little bit every day, right? And so so then you go, okay, well, what do I want out of business? Well, I actually want to help entrepreneurs build great companies, and I want our entire team to want that. And in fact, our team is drawn to us because of that vision. And it's not hard for us to find people to come and work here in the marketplace because they go, you know what? I like what that guy's trying to do, or that firm's trying to do, or that company's trying to do. And when you communicate it out loud and proud, you'll be amazed at how many people line up to buy into your vision. So, you got to figure out what your goals in life are and what your vision for your business is. And that's 2 things. Again, most business owners deploy the random hope strategy in business. That's 2 things that you can do right now to help you figure out how to get more work-life balance, which, by the way, I think is a term invented by people who don't have it. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Here we go. Okay, so I got a question. This is the question I love the most from Catherine. Thank you, Catherine. Where, when, cost, numbers of members. So we've got, currently we're at 6 members. We've sort of oscillated between 6 and 10. I would have up to 18 in this club. Up on the screen, which you can't see, I will show you again, Catherine, and anybody else, is we have our club on the first and third Wednesdays of every month from 8:45 to 10:45. Generally, it's at our office. In person, I think there's a ton of value to in person, but I get that not everybody can make. We're around Chinook Center. I'm looking at Chinook Center right now, and you can't make that at 8:45 on Wednesday. So we do open up a link for members to join remotely, although there's very much participation is required. Cost is in our application, which will circulate to you in an email afterwards. There's different there's different pricing levels depending on how long you sign up for. What else? Where? When? I think that covers it. Thank you very much, Catherine. I appreciate it, and I look forward. I would love to have a chat with you about this. I'll give you a call after, and we can have a one-on-one. Let's see what else I got here. I guess the last thing too, if I can ask, how many people, we got everybody on the line still. If you haven't already left us a Google review, if you enjoyed this session, please feel free to hop on to achenhenderson.ca and leave a 5-star review and say, hey, the session was really great. I like what Clayton had to say. That goes a long way in helping our business and helping more and more entrepreneurs. So I would really appreciate that if you can do that. We'll put the Google review link in the follow-up email as well. Thanks, everybody.